Hello, my name is Keith Haswell and I'm a professional astrologer with over 40 years experience in the business now and more than 30,000 clients worldwide. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this video, and I'm going to talk with you on this one about the nature of the soul. There's always so many questions about what is the soul, what is its nature? Am I the soul? Are you a soul? Or are we a spirit? What's the difference between spirit and soul? And so forth. Well, primarily the soul is an angel. There are two evolutions connected with the earth. Now I might be going a little bit deep for those who are not really into metaphysics, but I make no apology for that, because we've got to get information out there for everybody. And it's important for me to share the understanding that I have gained over the last 40 years about the nature of reality and our place in that reality, so that I can help others to become more of who they really are. So we've got two evolutions connected with the earth. There's the human evolution, which has 100 billion spirits connected with the earth. The angel evolution works together with the human evolution, and it has double the number. It has 200 billion soul spirits connected with the earth. So already you're probably saying that I think this video is too deep for me, but stay the course, because whatever you can take in is something that is going to help you in inspiring you to become more of who you really are. Now, the general understanding about the soul is that the soul is resident somewhere inside of ourselves, perhaps in the heart, perhaps in the head, perhaps between the eyes, or whatever. But such is not the case. Our personality, our human personality, lives within the force field of the soul. So the soul creates the physical body, and our bodies are there within that force field that is the soul. So there's 100 billion human spirits and 200 billion angel spirits work together in cooperation in order to carry out the purposes of evolution. And the purposes of evolution is consciousness expansion. Now, the nature of the soul, in a word, is consciousness. Consciousness and soul are identical terms. So it's the soul that confers upon us, as a human spirit, consciousness. And the task, mission, or focus of the soul is to put portions of its consciousness down into manifestation as a personality in the form of a human being. And to do that hundreds of times for the objective and the purpose of expanding the consciousness of that human being. So you as a human being are a triplicity. You are a personality, you are a soul, and you are a spirit. Now, the spirit is threefold in nature: will, love, and intelligent activity. The soul is a triplicity in nature: spiritual will, intuition, and higher mind. The personality, which is where we have our consciousness, is a triplicity of lower mind, emotions, and etheric stroke physical body. Now, I'm not going to get into all of the different things about subplanes and the different planes of matter and so on and so forth. I just want to try and keep this as simple as possible for you, so that you understand what is the mission and focus of the soul and the nature of the soul, and how does it work and function in life. So to begin each incarnation, you first of all start off as an idea. So the soul puts a piece of its energy down into the lower mental plane as an idea in the mind of your parents. And then it goes down into the emotional body and creates the emotional body whilst you're in there in the womb. And then at the time of conception, it is down there into the physical side of it, and it's building that body at the time of conception. It's building that body there in the womb. And at the time of your first breath, the soul then takes over control of that physical body. Now, we as a personality have a permanent part of our souls on the highest level of the etheric plane that collects all the information of everything that we've ever observed in that particular lifetime. On the emotional plane, it contains everything that we have felt as an emotion or feeling in that particular lifetime. And in the mental, there's a mental unit on the fourth subplane of the mental plane that is the highest aspect of the personality. And everything that we've ever thought with the conscious mind is there recorded in that particular permanent part of our souls. So we have three permanent parts of our souls that are on a thread that is put down into matter by the soul for the purposes of the personality to be able to unfold its consciousness and expand its consciousness. So in each lifetime that we live, we're experiencing a whole lot of things in terms of the physical world. We're experiencing a lot of things as far as our emotions are concerned, and we're having a lot of conscious thoughts. Now the soul works on the higher mental plane to plan out for us what the events and conditions that we're going to experience in this lifetime that's coming up. It determines what sort of conditions and events that it wants to bring about in your life for the purposes and the objective of you making changes inside of yourself and letting go of habit patterns that are detrimental to your expansion of consciousness. So before each lifetime and outside of time and space on this higher level where the soul is, the soul determines exactly what sort of conditions and events that you're going to experience in this lifetime, which are going to be the ideal experiences for you to be able to master aspects of your nature that you have become enamored with, such as our addictive patterns of behaviour and our negative thoughts and feelings and attitudes and beliefs. So it determines with its higher consciousness where all the planets need to be in your horoscope in order to be able to bring about the perfect set of circumstances and conditions in life. Basically, it's a matter of our soul is planning out what hurdles that it wants us to jump in our upcoming lifetime. Now, our reaction to these hurdles in our life, especially early in life, are quite often crisis and pain. But it's not the objective and function and purpose and design of the soul to bring about crisis and pain in our lives. The objective and purpose of our soul is to bring about change within our souls. For us to be able to plan out our personal initiatives and to give those plans structure and form in order to be able to bring them down into manifestation as conditions and events in our life, rather than to be lackadaisical and procrastinating and things like that. To be able to control our finances and budget wisely and handle the energy that is concretized energy is money. That's what money is concretized energy. And the law of economy states that we must use all energy wisely and harmoniously. And if we're not budgeting wisely and that sort of thing, well then there has to be adjustments inside of our souls and an awareness of the fact that we're abusing that money and abusing that use of energy. So we have certain things in terms of communication. We're assertive, we're dominant, we're manipulative, we're aggressive in our nature and angry in our nature and so forth. And so therefore there has to be corrections there in regard to those aspects of our nature that we've become enamored with. We're not providing a proper home and a secure home environment for those who share our home environment with us. And so there has to be some adjustment in that regard so that everybody in the home environment has a nurturing environment there where there's love and the expression of affection and goodness. We form relationships on impulse in past lives, and we're not true in relationships. We're deceptive in relationships. We overdo it on the social side of life. We allow ourselves to become addicted to alcohol or drugs or whatever. And that has to be a correction there. We don't work systematically and diligently in our job, whatever the service activities are. We don't correct our diet and have a good diet. We don't exercise regularly and properly in past lives, so there has to be some adjustment there in that area of our life. We're not loyal and true in relationships, and therefore we're lacking in character. And so therefore there has to be adjustments there in terms of relationships. And so we have to bring about change within ourselves in the area of relationships and partnerships. And so on through the rest of the areas of our life. So this just gives you an idea of the way that the soul is working in life. So the soul organises and plans for you to come in and take your first breath. When the planets are distributed throughout your horoscope in various ways, with their higher consciousness, mind you, we can't comprehend what all of that's all about and how they plan all these things out and so forth. But with their higher consciousness, they're able to see when will the planets be in perfect location throughout the houses of your horoscope and the aspects and relationships between the planets, so that you will have these testing conditions in life whereby you can rise above these negativities that you've become enamoured with in past lives, so that you can grow and reach and stretch and become more diligent in regard to your personal interest and have willpower and determination to follow through and to plan carefully. And also to budget wisely and to use money wisely, understanding that it's concretized energy and all energy must be used wisely according to the law of economy. To communicate with others is to be harmonious in relationships with relatives and neighbours and those who are close to you, to let go of the aggression and the anger and the domination and manipulation and control. To provide a harmonious home environment for your children and for those who cohabitate with you in the home. To be loyal and true in relationships and to allow that person to be a soul instead of dominating and wanting to make them what we want them to be, to let them be in their own image of what they want to be. To be loyal and true in the job and diligent in the job, and to be wise with regard to a diet and exercise so that we can have better health. So we react to these that are set up in our horoscope with anger and aggression and crisis and pain, but it was never designed by the soul for us to have that crisis and to have that pain. The soul doesn't sit there and say, oh, gee, I'm happy that they're in pain and that they're in crisis. The only reason that you have pain and crisis in any area of your life is because you are not making changes inside of yourself according to what the soul planned for you in this particular incarnation. Now, when you've lived that life, what happens then? Every single thing that you've ever observed is recorded there in that permanent part of yourself, in the highest level of the etheric. It's called the etheric permanent atom. So everything that's to do with sight is all connected with light and trapped light. All reality is simply trapped light. And so everything that we've observed is all recorded there in that permanent part of ourselves. And we then take that into the emotional permanent part of ourselves. And we see that on the other side of life in the emotional world as our life going before us. So we see all of the events that have ever happened in our life, we see them in a higher state of consciousness that we haven't normally got in incarnation. So here we are, we're having help from our soul to have higher consciousness and to be able to see all of those things that have happened. Our life goes before us, and people who have near-death experiences tell you that they saw their life go before them, a chain of events, as if they saw every event in their life in a matter of moments. And then you are polarized in consciousness on the emotional plane for a period of time there. So you're then reflecting upon everything that you've done as far as your feelings are concerned and your attitudes and your beliefs, and you can see the cause for all of your pain with the higher consciousness that the soul confers upon you in the after-death state. You're able to make a connection between all of the negativities and all of the pain and all of the suffering that you've had in that lifetime. You're able to make a connection to the attitudes and beliefs and thoughts and feelings that brought about those results and those decisions and choices that brought about those results. And then that permanent part of the emotional side of yourself has fulfilled its purpose, and it then sends all of its energy into the mental unit. And that's what's called the heaven world, what you might say. And there in that heaven world, we experience not only the pain that we've experienced inside of ourselves, but we also experience all of the pain and harm and crisis and so forth that we've caused to other people in our lives from the position of being in their body. So we are like one with everyone that we've ever had any intercourse with in that particular lifetime. We are in their body and we experience it all. We are one with them. And then we take all of that into the soul body, which is on the higher mental plane. And then we start to plan out our next lifetime with the soul. So this is the way that it all works, and this is the nature of the soul. The soul loves you. The soul has got massive consciousness of beyond our understanding. But it can't put down all of that consciousness into our physical conscious mind because we couldn't cope with that sort of consciousness. So it has to do so over a period of hundreds of lifetimes to gradually build us up in consciousness so that we can eventually go beyond the human level altogether into higher states of consciousness. It's a wonderful journey that all of us are on, and the soul is that triplicity of higher mind, intuition and spiritual will. So the object of the exercise is to build that personality up through, or build that conscious mind up, I should say, through hundreds of lifetimes to the point where it can be of service to humanity and step off the path of ordinary evolution onto the path of hastened evolution called initiation. And then when we get to that point, we take out what's called the first initiation. And then each lifetime that we live, it becomes an initiatory process. Graded expansions of consciousness, whereby we are being of service to humanity in some way, through our career or through our business or through our political activity or through our financial connections or through our communications, through our love and through our nurturing, through our intelligent activity in life, through our art or our music or our entertainment field, or through the areas of science, or through one of the religions of the world or the philosophies of the world, or through the New Age philosophies that we're connected with. And I can tell you this, that the First and Second World War was regarded as spiritually as the one war. It just came down onto the physical plane in 1914, and then in 1918 it went up onto the emotional and mental plane, and then came back down onto the physical plane in 1939. And during that experience of the World War, you took an initiation. There's hundreds of millions of people who have used that experience as an initiatory process, and you've since died and come back into incarnation, and you're ready to pick up where you left off in the last lifetime and to go on with the job of becoming more of who you really are, taking further initiations, being of further service to humanity in your chosen field, depending on the ray that you're on. But by the very fact that you are watching this video means that you have taken at least the first initiation, and you are on the crest of the wave of evolution. You are a map maker. You are a servant of humanity, and you are out to take another initiation in this particular lifetime. So it's time now to fulfill the mission of your soul, to expand your consciousness. You've got a lot of experience in life, and that's very important for you, to make adjustments and changes inside of yourself, to make a connection between the events and conditions that you're experiencing in life and the impulse that generated that event and condition. You are intelligent enough to make a connection between the outer world of circumstances and conditions and events and the inner cause that comes from within yourself. So you've had lots of experience, and it's time now to take in lots of knowledge, because through a combination of experience and knowledge comes out of it synergistically a whole that is greater than the sum of the parts, and that whole is wisdom. So it's time now for you to pick up where you left off in the last lifetime. It's time for you to realise that you are an individual soul, that you are a powerful person who has a tremendous future. There's time now to let go of those negativities and those addictive patterns of behaviour. It's time now for you to learn to work on those attitudes and beliefs and those thoughts and those feelings so that they engender better decisions and choices in your life. All of us have got the same sort of tools, and all of us have got the same raw materials. The raw materials in our life are our attitudes and our beliefs, our thoughts and our feelings, and our decisions and our choices. We all have 3 tools with which to mould and shape those raw materials into the events and conditions of our life, and they are desire, imagination and expectancy. No one has any other tools. Everybody has the same 3 tools. So subscribe to my videos, because I'll be putting out at least another 80 in 2014. And it's time for you to get your horoscope done if I haven't done it already. I'm happy to do your horoscope for you free of charge, to help you to understand the tests that you're facing in this incarnation, and to have a deeper horoscope done if you want to help you become more of the giant that you truly are. Sure, we've all made mistakes, and it's okay to make mistakes. But it's time for you now to dig deep and to draw upon that courage. Courage is the willingness to act, not the capacity to act or the ability to act. Everybody's got the ability to act and the capacity to act. It's the willingness to act, even though you don't have all the answers, and even though some of the answers that you do have are wrong. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be human. We've all done it, and we've all made mistakes. We've all hurt people, and we've all had a lot of negative, addictive patterns of behaviour that we've become enamoured with. But you can have a much happier life if you fit in with what your soul is trying to get you to do, to make those changes and adjustments inside of yourself. It's calling upon you to make change inside of yourself and to expand your consciousness so that you can become more of the map maker that you truly are and more of the giant that you truly are. So I thank you for your attentiveness here and look forward to working further with you should you decide to have your horoscope done by me. And good luck with my videos too. Subscribe to my videos and you'll get each one as they come out. Thank you.